Let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to call the meeting to order. Let's take roll call.
Nancy Ball, Ripon Public Library Director.
Travis Lipto, School District Representative.
Lisa Weeks, President.
Janet Bosco, a member.
Nancy Baird, member.
Rick Spears, member and tennis coach.
Extraordinaire.
I like that.
Okay, so in our packets, we should have the meeting minutes from the September board meeting and also from the budget meeting on October 9th. Let's see here, meeting minutes. I think we're all here. I'll just kind of give a brief overview to everyone for the budget committee meeting minutes. We discussed kind of what the general budget overview was. We talked about the revenue and expenditures and that we could potentially have a deficit of some sort. There really was not much we could do in terms of adjustments. So the budget sort of is what it is. However, we were waiting for some additional information from the city, which we did not get. And we'll go on to talk about that in this primary meeting. So I just need, unless there are any questions, I need a motion to approve the September 9th board meeting minutes.
What was the date? Because it says here October 6th. On it.
October 6th is the budget committee meeting,
Oh,
and that's, yes. So we certainly can go over the September meeting minutes if anyone has any questions about that. We did have everyone present, I believe, at
No,
that.
I wasn't here, so I won't move.
Okay, that is fair. Do you want me to? Okay. You will
For
move?
this.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion is carried. Do we have any public comments?
There's no public.
There
When's
is-
the last time we had a public comment? Do you remember?
That was in July when Orion was here.
That's the last time.
Yes, I believe so. July or August, I can't remember.
We typically have one or two a year. I'm trying to remember.
Don't know. if
Before
we've-
that, it was a long
Yeah.
That's what I was wondering. I've spoken at like Ripon High School Board meetings and I just wondered.
Yeah, and I think we didn't even have it on our agenda previously.
I think it's good it's on there.
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
Thank you.
Okay, so, director's report, Nancy, I'll turn it over to you.
Trying to pull it up, it must have closed by accident. Let me pull it up real quick. And I'll share it with,
Yeah, it's nice to see the computer active.
okay, share. This guy. There we go, so that Tiffany can see the same stuff that we're seeing.
Awesome, thank
Okay.
you.
So, just gonna go over the statistics really quick. So, about 3,600 patron visits. The main entrance did close on September 29th. So next month, the patron visits will be a full question mark because we rely on a people counter in the entrance that counts for us. So we're not gonna be sure what it is next month. 1,200 active card users, 453 questions asked. I know a lot of them were about the renovation and the entrances and stuff like that, but that means that people are interested and involved. Our circulation, about 5,700 physical items and 1,700 digital items. We are again at like about 24% being all digital, and once we hit that cusp of 20%, it does kind of make me think we should be spending more money on digital materials. 55% of all digital items are e-audio, so all the audiobooks that are through Libby are there, and they make 55% of all of our digital use. We had 67 meeting room reservations with about 188 hours of actual usage. I realized I had been leaving off the hour allotment on the report, and that actually gets plugged into the ROI calculator.
And that's for the month
Yes, that is for the month.
of
So 188 hours
September.
in September. Yeah. There are a couple of people that use one of the rooms almost like an all day, just get out of their house since they work from home. And so they come here and spend like all day, like once a week, like in one of the study rooms.
Do we charge for any use of the meeting rooms, in any way?
Not for personal or like for nonprofit usage. If it is like Quick Trip or somebody coming in and doing a training, they pay, I think it's like $30 for a couple of hours or something. There's a dollar allotment that is part of our policy.
Okay.
Yes.
Do they have their own,
What was that?
do they have computer usage in there, or do they bring their own?
They bring their own laptops currently. There are 2 laptops that they can check out using a library card upstairs. And then we will be getting an additional 3 laptops that are going to be designated for like the telehealth, the telehealth usage that was
Oh, okay.
described in the grant.
And will they stay in the room then?
They won't stay at the room, they'll still be like by checkout up at the desk.
Okay.
Just
Yeah,
so we
it'd be
can.
hard to,
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
I was
Exactly.
wondering that.
Ba-ba-ba. And then computer usage went down a little bit this month, kind of understandable. They're making a lot of noise upstairs now, so I totally understand why people don't want to hang out upstairs right now. I don't either some days. So about 211 people used the computers this month, 7,200 minutes, 362 Wi-Fi users. Our programs were fantastic this month. We had 41 total programs, over 1,000 people participated in these programs. So 32 youth programs, 956 participants. So of those programs, 24 of these are like the romper room usage. 115 people used the romper room this past month.
Wow.
9 adult programs with 111 participants, and then 1 all ages program. Whenever a program is advertised to like adult, teens and children, or just adult and children, it's an all ages program. So that's why there's 1 of them. We try to like single out age groups.
What was that? All age?
I believe that one was board game night. Yeah. So we had a bunch of board games just kind of out, ready to be used in one of the meeting rooms, and then people could come and play any number of the board games that they wanted to. So 9 people came to that, so that was super fun. So an estimated value of all of our services was $80,000 just for this past month.
Well done.
And then I finally got around to making the second sheet of this, which is all of the community partnerships that we did this past month. So we partner with Roadhouse Pizza by holding trivia night at their location. People are encouraged to, actually purchase items there as well as hang out with us. Linda attended the Ripon Kiwanis Pancake Breakfast. We brought the romper room outside for that to help with their mission. The Ripon Kiwanis is the biggest contributor to our toy library and the romper room. So it's fantastic that we can also give back to them and share what they've given to us. We went to Touch a Truck. It was super fun. Probably around, I think Linda counted about 500 people that we interacted with at Touch a Truck just to get the word out.
What staff went to that?
Yeah, so Susie and Linda were there the whole time. I showed up for the second half of it to help
Nice.
break down.
That's
Yeah.
pretty cool. So you're
It
still
was an
getting
awesome
out there a
day.
lot.
It was super fun. I came up in my Bingo and Bluey shirt that I have,
Nice.
so I got a picture with Bingo and Bluey that's out there somewhere. And then, we had Bingo and Bluey there. We had some fantastic college students volunteer to wear the costumes on that hot day. They were great
Brave.
though. They were alternating who was in the costumes. They were doing it for 45 minutes at a time, so they were comfortable. It was great.
I had to wear a costume when I worked part-time for Domino's. Get this big head thing. I was
You were annoyed?
I was annoyed.
Avoid the noid.
Inside, it's a big head thing with metal and you can cut your head in there.
Oh my
I was
goodness.
so hot.
Oh.
But I kept it on, I trooped through. I was probably 38 years,
Go.
30.
I have a newfound respect for you now, Greg.
We've come a long way.
Yeah, look at, he's wearing a real suit now.
I'm speechless.
And then here in the building, we were participating with the Boys and Girls Club's Coats for Kids drive. People could drop off their coats here, and we put the word out on Facebook and everything. And then Susie and I went over to the Senior Activity Center so that people could meet me, and we could talk about the renovation at their Lunch and Learn. So there are over 30 people that attended that, so that was awesome.
Wonderful.
Yeah, so we really did a lot of fantastic community partnerships.
I'm sure we've all read from time to time the emails we've gotten over the past several years of what the library's doing.
but this just brings it all right into our meeting with color. It's really helpful. I feel like I'm part of a great thing on the board and the library.
Yeah,
Enthusiastic, I know, it's great.
and I love the visuals.
Fantastic. Okay, so that was all of that, and then I just have some typed up updates from me.
Travis expresses his excitement another way.
Sure.
Online.
So coming up next month, we have 2 programs that I just want to highlight. So we have life-size board games for teens, which is this Saturday. So that should be really fun, like giant Jenga and like giant Uno and stuff like that. And then next Friday, we have this slightly spooky Halloween hop. There's like a DJ coming, I believe, and there's going to be food there and lots of activities. It's going to be super fun. So if you have any little kiddos or some teens, we have something coming up for you. And huge thanks and shout out to Susie and Linda for continuing to do programming and all of these community collaborations during all of this chaos.
Yeah.
It's really appreciated, and they do such
I
a
think
wonderful
it's
job.
great to get people here during it.
Yes.
They see it happening, I mean, it's awesome. Keep them coming
Absolutely.
in, right,
Mhm.
as they watch it happen, yeah.
Sure.
And then we were briefly talking about this before we started the meeting. Baker & Taylor is closing. So Baker & Taylor, who is our longtime book wholesaler, they announced it'll be closing. So Baker & Taylor provided us with an amazing platform that made ordering really efficient for us, as well as provided materials at a discounted price, sometimes up to 20 or 30%. And so they were really our go-to vendor for all print materials. So with Baker & Taylor closing, we're going to be pivoting to using other vendors. Right now, we're really relying on Amazon because they're the only ones that we really have. We have them and like a couple of smaller vendors who we have agreements with, but beyond that, nobody to take like the bulk of purchasing on. So on Friday, I'll be attending a meeting with a bunch of other Winnifox directors and staff to talk about this issue specifically and how we're going to move forward with it. Like just other options to fill the gap that they're going to be leaving behind.
What was the one, Nancy, that you had mentioned?
Ingram?
Ingram.
Ingram, I've heard a rumor that they are not taking on new clients.
Ooh.
So they are kind of like, it was always Baker & Taylor or Ingram, you were one or the other. And I know some people have pivoted to Ingram with Baker & Taylor having had more difficulty in the last couple of years. But now with Baker & Taylor going away, I feel like everyone's flooding to Ingram and they might be overloaded and might be turning people away. So I would love to have a conversation with them and see if that's true or not, but just getting the foot in the door and seeing if they're an option for us. Lots of stuff is going on with the renovation, as you could see when you walked in the building. So the front entrance curb and walkway have been removed, they've poured the new cement, so now the grade is much more approachable when you actually park and you're trying to come in the building. There's not a huge curb, that was a pretty big impetus. The circulation desk has been fully taken out. Janet was here a couple of weeks ago and walked through this space. It looks very dystopian right now. Demolition is complete in the former staff workroom upstairs as well as the copier room. So we've been watching them take full walls out. And then now they're currently framing where the wall will be for Ben's new office and like the beginning of the meeting room upstairs. So all of that is fun. Huge shout outs and thank yous to our wonderful staff, especially Ben, Susie, Linda, and Andrew for moving everything from the circulation desk and that back office to move it to the temporary circulation location. That was a big ask to go from full service on Friday to full service on Monday morning. And they pulled it off pretty flawlessly, so
That's
really
great.
appreciative for all of their hard work. The elevator is currently out of service. It's supposed to open back up on Thursday, fingers crossed, so it's just out of service for 3 days, as they're gonna be working in like the vestibule and inside the elevator specifically. And then safety concerns, we've had a few safety concerns. So unfortunately we had a bunch of different people not following the signs that says this is a work area, do not come in this entrance, removing barriers and coming in the staff door that was unlocked for contractors. And then they actually came up to the temporary desk and complained about how difficult it was to get in the building. So, which just kind of made all of us laugh. So now there's like a lot of very large signs saying do not come this way. Unfortunately, if it continues to happen, we're gonna have to be progressively more aggressive on the amount of access that people have. I feel like a lot of people are trying to come in the front doors when they have meetings here. And so that could possibly mean closing the meeting rooms down, and then if it continues to happen, fully closing the building, just because it's deeply unsafe for people to be walking through all of the construction areas. And we're liable if anybody gets injured. So, unfortunately, if it continues to happen, I haven't heard anything in that respect since we've put up more and more signage and even more barriers and caution tape. But I know for a while there, like the contractors were very concerned about people entering the work zones. So just to be aware of.
Did they verbally tell you that was
Yeah.
a problem?
Obviously, I would be contacting you guys and letting you know if any of this became necessary. And I hope it does not. I want to stay as open as possible, but
Right.
yeah, it's just a
Yeah,
safety
we
concern.
understand.
Yeah. And then as of today, the building's fire alarm system is temporarily offline for the entire building. So because of that, we need to start initiating a 30-minute fire watch walks. So like every 30 minutes, somebody's walking around the entire building, make sure there's no fires. And this is per like the National Fire Protection Life Safety Code requirements that they ask us to do this, so we have to log all of it. I had to look it up today
I
because
was
I
just
didn't
gonna
realize
say,
it
the
was happening.
things you are learning.
I'm learning so much. Stuff I never wanted to know.
No, you never wanted to know that, but.
Absolutely. And then, so as I was trying to, think of, okay, how are we initiating these 30-minute fire watch walks? What is the already existing procedure? There isn't actually an existing fire safety plan. There isn't like a procedure written out telling staff what they're supposed to do in case of emergency or fire, like go across the street to City Hall. There's nothing that exists.
And you never had drills?
What was that?
You didn't ever have fire drills?
Not here, I guess.
Wow.
And you're gonna add that to the list of things you need to do, right?
That is something I need to get on and have done tomorrow.
Right.
I was gonna get it done today, but I have all of this.
Yes.
So immediately after everything else gets settled, that is top priority for
Somebody
safety
goes
of
through and
everybody.
shuts all the doors and somebody checks every room and somebody,
Mhm.
yeah, oh my gosh.
Yeah, none
okay.
of that has been written down or communicated to staff or trained on at all. None
Okay.
of that has happened. I mean, even like, I was talking to Ben, he's like, yeah, we don't even have emergency flashlights.
What?
So, we found one buried in a bin and it doesn't have batteries.
Did you go,
So,
did somebody go purchase them?
we're going to be.
You're going to,
Yeah,
okay.
it just like came up in conversation today while I was like, okay, so we need to start doing fire watch walks. What's the current procedure? And everyone was like, there isn't one.
So how about
run screaming through the
overnight?
building?
Does someone just circle the building at night, the police or something, or?
So the way that our current fire system works anyway is that it's just an audible alarm. It doesn't call out.
Oh.
So there's no difference between us being like how it is now with nothing happening
Well, and if
versus.
no one's in it, I guess
Yeah.
that's kind of the point, so. whatever.
Yeah, so it's just, yeah, it's crazy. So we will be doing the walks just when it's occupied, and it's more based on the safety of the public and the safety of the staff more than safety of the items, because apparently that's the risk we've been taking anyway. So, yeah.
Well, we should have insurance to cover.
Yeah, the city insurance does have all of that, and it's just because the rules were different when all of our fire system was originally done, and now we're just brought into the fold every single time because it's wildly expensive to bring it up to dial out. So, yeah, and we don't really have that opportunity. The entire building has gone away from phone lines. We only use internet phone lines now. So, yeah, so none of their stuff actually calls out. Yep. Okay. Great, and then that's it. That's all of my doomsday updates. I'm sorry.
Okay, next we'll move on to financials.
Okay. Sweet financials. So this little inserted stapled sheet.
Separate.
Yeah. There's really nothing super of note, across the board, only if we look at like the check register sheets. The very last item on there says that we spent $10,000. So that would be the $10,000 for the new public desktops, the new laptops for the telehealth spaces, that is fully grant reimbursable. So we spent it, but we're getting the money back.
So that, those were ordered but not arrived, or they, I mean, you
They've
paid for them?
arrived,
Really?
they've arrived,
Are
and
they
Ben
sitting in a
is
box?
installing them.
Okay.
Yeah, Ben is on it.
Awesome.
Cool. And then, yeah, I think that's the only thing of note, everything else is business as usual.
Okay. Sounds good. Anyone have any questions or need to go over any of the information? Okay. Well,
Cool, and this month you actually get to see the backup for what happens when we don't get that report. So the other thing in the packet that's kind of like the every other line is labeled. These are like my personal director files for all of the invoices that we're paying. So there is a backup if I don't get the financial reports in time, at least we can go over the invoices that I paid the previous month.
So I read that we're getting money for staff computers. Is that what's referred to the last?
No, so not this one. The other one, I don't think it'll actually technically be an invoice
Right.
for when the staff computers get updated. It'll just be decreased on our WinnaFox fund because it just stays in-house with Pete over at WinnaFox because he's doing the ordering and he's paying it out. And so like the fund already exists on their end, so they just kind of pay it out immediately. So that hasn't been paid out yet. When we look at the very last sheet on here, it still says we have $10,000 in the account balance for the Walls Tech Reserve
That
on there,
probably
so it hasn't been paid out yet, but we did order the computers through WinnaFox, it just hasn't been.
Okay. How many
Maybe not yet.
computers might that purchase or give?
What was that, sorry?
Well, how many computers might we be able to procure with that?
With all of that money? So we got 2 new laptops, 1, 2, 3, 5, no, 1, 2, 3 new desktops, 2 laptops, and then a bunch of new monitors.
so that's what this 9909.
That's not what the 99 is. The 99 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 desktops, 2 laptops, 6 new monitors is that 99.
Okay.
Yeah, the money that would be spent for the staff stuff, well, it'd still be like 10,000, but it's, the needs are just different based on the computers and things like that. So the costs are just a little bit different, but that will be 3 new desktops, 3 laptops, and like 6 monitors will be that.
So they won't be installed until the desk is back up and running? the
Some
new
of them are
desk?
being used already.
Okay.
Like, so Ben and Libby, because their office space, their workspace is actually out in the public area. So because we were able to get them on laptops, they're actually able to be in that workspace with using a much smaller footprint. So they're very excited and happy that they can do that. And then they can also escape down here with their laptop if the hammering 100% of the time gets to be too much. So they're all using that already. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. And then, okay, so they didn't have, for OACF, these reports, they didn't have the actual statements done yet. So these are like the screenshots that I can pull from the first page of our accounts that have like the most up-to-date information as far as I can see it. So in the general Ripon Public Library Fund, there's currently $769,000.
So you're being innovative and giving.
Yeah, I'm trying to get you guys the numbers any way I can.
This is why we hired you, so well done.
That's right, Lisa.
So yeah, so $769,000, that went up so significantly because the money from the Volker's house sale was finally deposited. So $127,000 from that sale is in there. So on the second page, you can actually see that City of Ripon, $127,000.
Wondering what that was.
And then the other fund, the renovation fund, still has $571 in it as well. So, perfect on that. And then there's been no change in the Winnifox budget because the money hasn't come out of that account yet. Pete was on vacation for a little bit.
And
so
where's
he
his
hasn't gotten around to
location,
working on
where's
it yet.
Pete located, his office?
What was that?
Where's Pete located?
Pete is at Oshkosh Public Library on their first floor. All of the Winnifox staff offices are on that first floor in that building. So I used to work at Oshkosh Public Library, so I'm very familiar with everybody and where they are. So sometimes, like, I still live in Oshkosh, so I get to pop over and just bother them sometimes.
I get
say
over
hi.
there to that library once a week.
Yeah. Yeah, so back in the, so if you enter through the main doors, you go all the way to the back past large print to the left. All of like the administrative offices are back that way. And so
Yeah.
Winnifox is there as well as like the Oshkosh Library Director right now. I know he's switching offices soon, so, yeah.
Trying to remember his name, the director.
Daryl, and his last name is Achete. I think that's how you say it. I can spell it. I don't know if I'm saying it correctly. He was originally from like Louisiana, so yeah.
Tiffany, has the Fond du Lac Public Library hired a new director yet?
No, we have final interviews next week, Monday and Tuesday.
Oh, wonderful.
Ooh,
Good luck with all that.
that's exciting.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I think that's everything with the finance stuff.
Okay. What about this summary worksheet for Plunkett Research? Is this anything that we're, like, is there,
This is gonna be, this PRA summary worksheet's coming up on the agenda later. But I couldn't-
okay, well, look at me getting ahead of myself.
No,
Okay.
that's good.
It's just two items from now, that's all.
Okay, all right.
Yep.
Renovation furniture, fixtures, and equipment budget, is
I
that,
skipped one. Review Oshkosh Area Community Foundation fund transfers.
oh, I'm sorry, I thought that's what you,
Nope, not yet.
I'm not, I apologize, please carry on. We'll go on, we'll take a step back to that item that I tried to,
It is all good. Okay, let me just make sure I have this on the screen.
Yeah.
Okay, so for the review of Oshkosh Area Community Foundation fund transfers, I just kind of briefly for transparency, because we have so many new people,
yes.
wanted to go over how exactly the money is deposited and then spent out of in those accounts. So basically, we receive money here at the library. Any of the memorial donations, if somebody donates money in the name of somebody else, I make a record of it in a spreadsheet, and then I make a disbursement sheet that goes to the city along with the check. The city then deposits it, sends like, so in their record keeping the money that we're getting as donations, then they cut a new check to the OACF, and then I, on my way home, drive that check over to OACF and drop it off with them. And so that's how some of like these deposits are being made in the OACF. For the money to come out, we need some kind of motion made by the library board or a corresponding invoice for money that will need to be spent. So at some point here, like this PRA invoice that we will be talking about, this isn't actually an invoice, this is just a premature what it could possibly look like. So we'll get a PRA invoice, we'll talk about it at the board, you guys will approve it or deny it, and then you'll need to make another motion that says we want to pay it with OACF money, please disperse it, and then Lisa and I, or another board member and myself, will sign this other disbursement request form that needs to be attached to the board minutes and some kind of invoice or other documentation for why we're spending the money. And then that gets sent over to Carlene Grabner at OACF, and then they will send over a check, and then that goes over to the city, and then that's how that all
The
works.
check made out to,
It would be to City of Ripon,
and then they
and then we.
pay the invoice.
Yeah,
Okay,
correct.
so does it go through, does it show on our books at the city that the money came in and went out? Okay,
It shows on both sets.
okay.
Yes, because previously it was not, and I know that that was a city concern that has been talked about lots of times.
Okay.
So, yeah, so now that's why they're kind of like the middleman holding center where we technically don't have the money. So it comes out of the city coffers so that they can make a check mark that this money has gone in or out. And then it's just funneling in there just for everybody's record keeping.
And you're having to watch like what accounts they're taking in, out of, putting it in and taking it out of?
Yeah, I watch those, and then everything is on my end, like heavily documented, and I can follow up with Sean.
Okay.
So these procedures help us just to be above board and safe, and do
Yeah.
other libraries get this technical and granular?
Other
That
libraries I've worked
question
at have
would anybody
not
hear?
been like this. So the other libraries I worked at did not have a foundation set up. So Shawano doesn't have a foundation, Oshkosh doesn't have a foundation. Milwaukee Public has a foundation, but it's basically its own business. None of the staff know anything about it, like it's its own
Okay.
entity. And then Oshkosh doesn't have a Friends of the Library at all. And Shawano's Friends of the Library is fully separate. So they have a totally separate record-keeping accounting that I had to participate in as a director as well.
So you can live with this one, you won't be getting home at 9 at night.
I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of weird. It's very weird to have it be the middleman. I understand why it's happening because of the kind of shaky accounting that had happened previously, where the Friends of the Library were, they were the owners and operators of the copier and scanner. And so we were taking money in and sending money out to the Friends while they're paying for a direct operational cost, which is a super gray area. And so I can understand why the city would balk at that. and
So the
be
programming
concerned.
was considered an operational cost?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So is it getting simpler now that we are the ones owning the copier?
It's still, it's always going to be kind of convoluted now that it's like this, but it kind of has to stay this way just for everyone's transparency and where the accounts are and what's going in and out. Just so that there's a very clear, obvious, no wrongdoing is happening. Everyone's money is staying in the accounts they're supposed to stay in. All of that is good for that level of transparency that we need at this
And the
time.
auditors will be happy with this, we think. The auditors?
Yeah, exactly. I know that was like a big red flag for them as well. They're like, why is this coming in and out? Where is it going? And so to have no way to track that because they can't look at the Friends books because they're a totally separate entity.
Right.
So how much time is it taking you? Will it get easier for you think?
Oh, it's really not that bad. It's
Okay.
really easy,
Okay.
honestly. The financial processes that we have here at City of Ripon are honestly a lot easier on me than they were at Shawano even. So at Shawano, I was a faux accountant where I was actually entering into their financial software, all of the invoices, doing all of the approvals, doing the budget adjustments,
That's
doing
interesting.
journal entries.
Into
So I
their
was doing
software.
all of that at Shawano. So here I just send an email to Sean, or I send an email to Naomi and I go, here's my list, here are the attachments, thank you. And then they do all the inputs and I just have to hit approve. So actually it's really easy for me.
Okay.
So I'm not unhappy about this at all.
Okay, good.
Well, keep us abreast of how it's working out.
Yeah, definitely will.
How many times have you actually taken the check over?
I've only taken checks over to OACF twice. Yeah, it's really easy because it's on my way home. And I just have the checks in there and I just
Okay.
go, hello, please deposit this. And then it just has like a little extra level of documentation. Let me see if I can pull up.
As I remember, it was Mary Madron that triggered this, or brought
Yeah, I
this
think probably some of her discussions with Sean and/or Adam prompted her to look at how we were dispersing and taking in money, particularly disbursement, because that was really just done via email previously. And now we have more of a tracking mechanism and a required signature by both the director and one of the officers here.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
Mhm.
That's my memory as well.
So like when we receive a donation that's specified for a certain reason, I just put it into this document and it just says like, this is a donation for this reason into this fund, and then please write this check with this memo, and then I just hand that over to Karen over at City Hall, and then in a week or so I receive a different check, and then that's the one I deposit to OACF with this documentation as well. So it's just like an extra printout and an extra 2
You
minute
don't think
walk
this will
across the
ever
street.
cause us to have a delay of,
What was that?
will this ever cause us to have a delay in payment or delay in reception?
Not enough that it's an issue. I mean, if this was like our bread and butter money, like if I needed to make invoice payments using this immediately, then it would be an issue. But because it's more of a holding account than anything else, like the bulk of it is already there. Like
Okay.
$250 going into the account is gonna make or break any of our payments. So because it's not like more of our checking account, it's like a far off savings account, it's not as necessary that
That
it needs to be as
answers my
timely.
question.
Yeah. Perfect, cool. So yeah, that was all just for transparency and just so if anybody has any questions of how are these being dispersed? Why is it an 8-step process? So,
8 steps.
The more steps, the merrier.
why are there so many steps? Now we kind of all know. So if anybody has any questions, let me know.
Okay, great.
We'll start closing some of these as we go through it. Okay. Oh, I just talk forever. Okay, so the next thing on here is renovation, furniture, fixtures, and equipment budget.
Did we get one for that?
Okay, let me go back to Zoom.
Never seen that.
Share this one with Tiffany. This guy.
Tiffany, you still there?
Yes, I am.
Yay! Haven't lost her.
You see them? Oh.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to in about 5 minutes, so I gotta get to the
There
board.
is the point of usage.
Okay.
So that's-
So after I printed out all these beautiful packets, people continued sending me information. So this was the sheet that I got earlier this morning, and then the one on the screen is the one that I got at like 4 p.m. So just to be as up to date as possible, just including it as well. So these are all of the furniture, the furniture and fixtures and equipment costs that are part of, kind of looped into the renovation. So some of these were originally budgeted for in their very first, initial budget for us, and then other things have been add-ons. So in the original furniture and fixtures budget, it included all of the things on the first floor except for the existing table grommets. So the adult area, children's area, staff areas and offices, which is just the upstairs staff areas, the young adult area, and then the patio outdoor. So those costs have always been on these sheets. The existing table grommets, the new furniture that we're getting, and I've asked the electricians to look into adding additional outlets as well into all their new seating areas. So there were no additional outlets planned originally. So we're asking for the new furniture to have actual circles drilled into them with electrical plugs put into them so that people, when they're sitting at the tables, they can just plug it right into here instead of crawling on the ground or going to the nearest pillar. So it'll be directly built into the table themselves just for ease of use.
They have USB too?
Yes, those will have USB as well. So those are the existing table grounds, which is great because the outlets won't have USB and more people don't have the actual
Right.
Yeah.
plug adapter. So yeah, so the existing table grommets, so that'll be the new tables as well as our tables that we're reusing from we've had forever. They'll just be adding it into them as
So
well.
you can retrofit that?
Yeah,
Just
so
not
that's
drill a
cool.
hole.
yeah, they're gonna drill a hole in it and then.
Huh.
I'm seeing some of this for the first time. So the Silver Creek room, that's where we are, right?
Yes.
69,042.
So all of the lower level stuff was not included on the original bid. So the Silver Creek room, so that's $69,482. That would be replacing all of the tables and chairs in this room. That would cost $69,000. The $19,000 is the same thing for the Nash room, and then another $3,000 a piece for they're calling it the telehealth and Zoom room, so that would be Jorgensen and Soresco, if we got new tables and chairs in all of those rooms.
About when might we see the furniture be ordered or arrive here?
So these are extra requests we're looking
They're
at.
extra requests,
Yeah,
so
this
none
is
of this has
not in the
been,
renovation budget.
so it has
right
not
now.
finalized at
Right.
all.
Right.
That seems a little high, doesn't it? For this room,
Furniture
60?
is so expensive.
Well, I mean, we went from 200,000 to 400,000. Basically, it was 200,000 to, and then added 10%, whatever added on for
The contingency
picking
and
it
stuff
out.
like
No,
that,
I'm
yeah.
sorry, it wasn't that, but, right?
Would it be mahogany or
No.
gold or?
Yeah.
It
what's
would
wrong
just
with
be,
these
it would just be a
tables?
different version of this, basically.
And
So I highlighted the Nash room, Silver Creek, and the two, like the telehealth and Zoom rooms, so the Jorgensen and Soreska rooms. I highlighted those in green because we were talking about it as staff. When we look at the other items that we want to accomplish, hopefully with donated funds, there are things that we would prefer to address instead of getting new furniture at this time. So it's fully up to the board, but we think that the $97,000 or whatever this is for just new furniture in these rooms, while these furniture pieces are still functional and still fit our purposes, we think that the $95,000 could be better spent addressing other issues, like maybe upgrading our motion sensors instead, addressing the landscaping that still needs to be done and has not been accounted for. There are just other
Okay.
needs that could be used for
Yeah.
that.
But does the telehealth room, does it have extra needs from what you had in there?
That's where I was.
No.
Because that was part of the grant.
It is part of the grant. So I believe the grant is fulfilled by us getting a laptop
Okay.
and then providing a space for private usage.
It didn't need to show any background or have more privacy doors or something, anything like
Mm-mm.
that? Okay.
No, so the work that they're doing in there, I don't know exactly what they're doing in there. They're not doing that much, and then the tables and chairs that would be, the $3,000 would just be a new version of what already exists.
Why would we do that? It's particularly the Silver Creek room. I mean, this is functional
Looks new,
furniture,
doesn't it?
right? It's not
I
like
don't
it's
know
run
if you've ever
down,
watched
like-
a movie sitting in one of those, but,
Well, I'll give you that,
Yeah.
but
but here's the thing,
Mhm.
what is in those rooms? Because these will be elderly people, some of them, or physically maybe not as able as some of us. Those chairs weighed a ton. Are those the ones that are in there, those old
wooden
buckstaff
ones?
chairs? Yeah,
Yeah,
they're really hard to move.
well,
There
even
are
if we
rooms.
did that, I'm sorry, I didn't
No,
mean to
you're
cut you
good.
off, I apologize, but if we did it in the telehealth room or the Zoom room, that's only $6,000.
Right.
We're not talking the 70,000 of the Silver Creek
Right.
and the additional, you know,
Right.
like that to me,
So
maybe
these
we
requests
could-
on the bottom, is that right?
yeah,
What
Yeah.
about the first floor? Is that stuff set in
that was all
stone?
part of the
That's all
budget.
part of the grant in
Oh,
there.
yeah, this
Yeah,
was
it was already
originally,
considered.
So children's area is 75,000, just roughly, not
Yeah.
detailed. What is that?
so
What do we
that
get?
one get highlighted a little bit, so the children's area is getting so much stuff done, that's why. I mean, so many things in the children's department is getting new stuff because they've never been a full room all by themselves. So they just need additional furniture and different spaces. It increased a little bit from the one that was printed out, it went up by like $4,000 because the very tops of the lower shelving, so those are called canopies, when you have lower shelving and there's like the colorful pieces on there. So we're going to redo those, because they're in very bad shape, for all of our lower shelving. So that, she forgot to put it into this estimate. And so that's why it got bumped up in here. But yeah, what is there? There are a bunch of new ottomans, there is a full new giant circular couch, there are a bunch of new shelving units, there's something called a baby garden.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so there's just a lot of furniture needs that is going into the children's department,
Some
because right now
tables.
it's just an empty room. Yeah. Yep, yep,
Tables
yep.
and chairs in there somewhere?
Yeah, tables and chairs and couches and space for kids to be on the ground and extra ottomans and seat cushions.
Did I hear something? Pee on the ground?
Pee on the rug, is that what you said?
Is that what you said?
Children play on the
What
rug.
happens? Children have had things drop out of their diapers when I was
Oh,
working,
yeah,
trust
yeah, oh,
me,
yeah,
yeah.
there's, kids are kids.
Kids are
So
kids.
let me ask this question. Where did these estimates come from? Who did they come from? And why did we get
So
them?
these are coming from Laura Frydak, who is the head designer at PRA.
Okay,
And so These are like the actual numbers if we were to purchase them now.
Okay,
I think part of the issue as well was just increasing costs over the past 2 years.
yeah.
So the original numbers that were given to us for last year, and they weren't having as many ordering issues as exist now. And so some of the costs have just increased by themselves inherently,
Right.
and then some of these other ones are add-ons. So like the break room was always on there, but like the staff workroom as well as an additional cost, that would just be getting new furniture and creating better workspaces.
I would speak to supporting the staff workroom. They're in some equipment and desks that are 30, 40 years old.
Mhm.
And ergonomic chairs, I would think, they've just never had very comfortable work in there, but, so, to me, I would go there before I went to the Nash Room, the Silver Creek Room, or the other two, but, I don't know.
That
No,
makes sense.
we're fully on board with that. Yeah, I had conversations with staff, and, I mean, I'll throw Susie in there. Susie actually said, well, if we have to wait, I guess we can keep doing it. And I
Yeah.
was like, no,
Yeah.
like, you need an efficient work area. This
Yeah.
is not usable.
No,
how it
if
is
you,
right
I
now.
mean, you could tour us through that and people would see.
Yeah, so like Laura suggested some furniture and some layouts, and so all the full-time staff actually got to choose exactly what their layouts would do and provide actual real shelving and built-in cabinets, and then, you know, Susie wouldn't be using 3 cobbled together random tables as a work surface. So, I mean, the one thing I would definitely advocate for is the staff workroom area and the staff break room. I think those should definitely stay on here.
I agree.
They need some love desperately. But the furniture pieces in like this room, the Nash room, and then possibly the telehealth rooms, not as necessary at this time if there's other things that we should be addressing, I think.
And these would come out of our portion left in our foundation.
Yeah, exactly. 'Cause,
And
yeah.
are you asking for a decision today on any of this?
Kind of, I think what is the exact order?
No, you go right ahead.
Vote on renovation
Good
furniture
question,
budget.
Jen.
So, yeah, if we would want to move forward with the decision to cut out the Nash Silver Creek room, and then, I mean, up to you if you wanna include the telehealth rooms. But I think there are just other necessary things to address before that.
I think that before we get to that, why don't we discuss, since we're, you know, the numbers are right in front of us. What are your thoughts? Travis, Breck, Nancy, Janet, what do you think about what she's proposing?
Travis?
I agree with the break room and staff workroom. While the telehealth and Zoom would be nice, I think it's something you can circle back around to in the future. I really do. I think you have to focus on the main things right now.
And you think the main things are what? Could you repeat?
The break room and the staff workroom that was brought up.
Break, okay. So the staff is up above.
No, they're on the bottom, so the staff
Oh,
work.
the staff worker,
Yeah,
that's
is on
lower
the lower.
level, yeah.
Yeah, the
The
two ones that are
non-highlighted ones.
Yep,
The greens are kind of what are possible,
Yeah.
if
Okay.
we would want to do them, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So staff workroom, 24,000, you think that,
I do, because
think it'd be?
isn't there maybe 5 places that is there, how many
How many staff are in there?
workstation, yeah.
So there's 4 staff in there, with 4 workstations. And then, so it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, basically like four like L-shaped work desks, and all of them would be height adjustable.
Okay,
Especially important for the 2 technical services people in there that do all the processing.
yeah.
And then it would also be getting just better storage for them in there. So like one really long, it'd be a 4 3-foot big storage units that are actually meant for like workspaces. We kind of retrofitted 2 shelving units to be there for like the laminate, as well as other programming materials. And so it would be all of those items.
Are those original counters gonna stay there?
The counters on the sides of the walls are gonna stay there.
Their original color, I mean,
I
that's just
know.
ugly. Okay,
It's
They're
right.
not attractive, but they're functional.
yes, okay.
Yeah.
Do we need to replace them? How old are they?
Well, when it
Older
was
than
built,
Janet.
when it was built, 75. when-
Yeah.
Because I've been in there, it's.
I mean, it's mid-century modern kind of.
Yeah.
At this
It's
point,
vintage.
yeah,
Probably
it's
coming back.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, mustard, orange, yeah.
They are mustard, yes. But actually staff have said that those should stay,
That-
because they're so functional and they get used all the
Try to
time.
trust them, yeah.
Yep.
And then it would be adding additional counters with under storage space for like program preparation in the little alcove that like the Friends also use. So it'd be 2 new storage units on both sides of there to make that space functional. Because right now it's kind of just a hole of space, and then there's like a random table in there. And then it's kind of where all of our technology old stuff goes to sit until we send it to Pete. So it's kind of just a random space that's not being used effectively at all. So, yeah.
I would trust their choices, and I would recommend same as Travis.
Nancy?
Me too.
Travis, any other thoughts?
No,
I thought I saw a wise look in your eye.
no, there's no
Although
wiseness
he
here.
walks around
There's
like
zero.
that all the time, it's misleading really.
It is, you are correct.
Okay, all right, good, so I think when we get to that action item, then I think we probably are all in agreement on how we wanna vote on that.
Okay, awesome.
That is awesome.
Oh gosh, I just keep talking.
I bet that children's room. will
You know what, this has been the easiest one for me, I'm like, go ahead, take it.
Okay, and then let me see if I can switch. Stop share. So now we're gonna flip the page over to the security surveillance system RFP. And then I'll share that with Tiffany as well.
Tiffany might be gone by now.
I don't know. Tiffany, are you still here?
She said she had to leave in
Oh,
5
she
minutes.
is. Okay, great. Not great, but
No.
I don't have to share the screen anymore.
Right.
Easier.
It's easier for me on my end, I can just close this, great. Okay, did this one close also? Okay, well, we have the whole thing up. It hasn't changed, this one hasn't changed. So the security surveillance system, so we currently have no surveillance at all outside of the building or inside of the building. And so just for staff and public safety, we would like to do that. The rest of the city is also doing that with upgrading all of their cameras and stuff as well. So this is like a
So
citywide
we've never had
project.
security outside?
Lights, or cameras.
We've
Yeah.
never had cameras outside? How about
We
inside?
don't have any cameras.
I don't think we have any cameras.
We don't have any cameras at all.
Yeah.
We have none. So in this proposal, I believe, so we are right here on the bottom of the first sheet under the giant Baycom logo. So it'd be $36,000 just for like the materials, and then another $5,000 for install. Or no, it'd be $5,000 for a 5-year subscription.
So is that the only ongoing cost? The 5,000 would cover, there's nothing monthly or annually?
No, it would cover us fully for the next 5 years.
Okay. Who decided what we need?
I did.
Okay.
I did a walk around with a bunch of men. It was like 11 dudes and me. And so it was like a bunch of Baycom people, and then it was 2 people from the police department as well.
Here
to
in
give
this
input.
building.
Yeah, here in this building. So, so the original drawing that they made for the library, there were 22 cameras
I
that
was
were
just gonna say,
suggested.
I'm sure they overhyped it, okay.
Oh.
Yeah, there
Okay.
are 22 that were suggested, and I cut it down to 10.
Well done.
I mean, look at the rest of these, they have 3 or 2. and-
Yeah. Well, for a lot of these as well, because it's like the park.
Yeah, they're all smaller places for a lot
Or
of
like,
it.
I
Yeah,
think
or
Restricted.
have less public
Yes.
coming in,
Yeah.
I get that, but the police station only has whatever.
Nobody goes to the police station,
Yeah.
there's not even a
They don't wanna
911
know
dispatcher
who's
there,
there.
no.
So for us, so I labeled them, so on this first floor, there's gonna be, or that's the basement. So for the first floor, there are cameras over in this corner, there's one here, there's one here, there's one at the checkout desk, and then there's one over here. So that's all for the internal cameras here inside the building on the first floor. And then there are exterior cameras on the first floor. This one will be pointing out towards the parking lot. So right when they come in the building and approach, the new book drop, entering the building, and then this one is actually pointed towards the front doors as well. So we'll have more line of sight that way. And then this exterior camera is specifically just for all the new patio furniture and that entrance, that's gonna be an all glass doorway. So that'll be the camera up there. So that is all of the cameras on the first floor. And then down here in the basement, there are 4 more cameras. So there's one on both of the exterior corners. There's been some issues in the past with, people coming behind the building and creeping behind here. So these 2 cameras will be full 270-degree cameras, so they'll just be posted on one of the corners and they can cover the entire span, both of those. So we only need those 2 cameras to cover the entire back of the building.
Okay.
And then interior, so there'll be one right here off of the staircase and the elevator. So it'll be a 360 camera, so it'll see who's coming off the elevator, who's coming down the staircase, and it'll be able to see down both of these hallways. And then this camera is specifically because the romper room is right here, so any, children being in this space, it'll cover that.
But it's in the hallway.
It's in the
not
hallway,
romper room.
it's not in the room, it's in the hallway. And then it's actually going to be covering these 2 pathways because there is an exit over here, and then there's another stairway over here, that's another exit. So this will just keep an eye out for this area, and then that's everything that's downstairs.
I haven't worked with security that much, maybe some people here have. How often will staff have to maintain or check the camera systems?
They don't have to at all,
They don't have to?
they don't need to.
So if there's an issue,
They-
then,
They ask
There
and
you
you
go.
dig through it usually if there's an incident.
And it's 30 days,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it records,
Saves
it remembers stuff for 30 days. So if, this is more preventative and
Right.
then checking after the fact.
Yeah.
So the outside cameras, at least if people see that there's cameras, hopefully it deters people. And then after the fact, if an incident does occur, which digging through the files, I haven't seen that many
but on a daily
incidents.
basis, you don't have to do anything.
Yeah, so people won't be watching these cameras 100% of the time.
What, if someone in here wanted to see what's going on at one of the cameras, is there a place where they could go look, or could the police?
They're not
It's
monitored.
web-based, so you can pull it up from anywhere, but you're obviously gonna watch who has rights to be able to see what
Yeah,
as
not the
well.
police.
You're not gonna just give it to anybody.
You
Police
could-
can't have access unless they
Correct.
have a warrant.
So that was my question, then we
Yes.
need a policy. So
Yes.
30 days, and we're taking pictures of people and saving it for 30 days. So if someone comes and says, I want to see that tape, right?
Mhm.
Then we need a policy for when we would give it to them, I would think.
So we can put a policy in place, but the law already exists. So any records that we have here at the library is part of the First Amendment. So it's privacy law. So anything that somebody, if they come in off the street and say, oh, I want yesterday's footage, do you have a warrant? Do you have a court order? The police or the court needs to contact us in order to view the footage because it's a privacy issue.
Oh,
And usually they don't view it, I do it at night.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I look at it and I'll print off what's relevant and give that to the police,
to the
if
police?
they have a warrant. Otherwise, they're
it's very
always trying to
specific.
get,
Their warrant
they
is
come in,
specific.
can you look at your camera? I'm like, nope,
Yeah, okay.
sorry.
Mhm.
You got other things to do.
Well, no, they can't just look at
It's-
it.
If a private citizen needs to see something, does it have to go through the police? Does the police have to bring a warrant?
Well, it had to be a
Private
crime, it would
citizen
need to be a crime,
yeah, it
they're
has to be.
investigating.
Did someone say sometimes somebody other than police would request to see something, right?
No, well, they can't.
They
I
could
mean-
potentially
Right.
come in and ask,
And
and
we would
just
say
don't
no.
have to give it to them.
But it's primarily the police that ask to see.
Both the FBI or CIA.
They like to know, like,
ICE, right? I mean,
did
it's-
this criminal come in your
Yeah.
building? Well,
Mm-hmm, sure.
sorry, we can't tell you that.
But I mean, like, the library director or the board would never say, I want to see this. Wouldn't, that could happen sometime. We need to see.
I mean, a situation
Staff
could
can look.
arise, but I
But
don't,
there's an incident, like theft,
Yeah.
or vandalism, then
The card.
staff can look.
Yes.
And then they can call the police if it's
Mhm.
staff initiated and give them, this is the picture of so-and-so that vandalized, and then they can go arrest them.
Right.
So they might see it before the police, the
The
staff.
staff
They would
only,
have to.
I would
That's what
think,
it said,
right?
staff.
Mhm.
So like, if
Yeah.
something happened by one of those, the romper room,
Mhm.
you would dig up the file.
Yeah. Or if it's like,
Record
oh,
it or put it on
someone
a-
stole my bike and was parked out front of the library.
Yeah.
And be like, okay, did you file a police report? And then the police will come over and ask if we have any extra information. And then at that point, we will collaborate with the police.
And you
on
can
issue.
dial in and see this on a laptop. It's a website that
Yeah.
stores them all.
Yeah, it's gonna be an online hosting.
And then is it only the libraries, like public works can't look at the libraries?
Correct.
Or,
Correct.
okay.
Yeah, it'll be like a totally separate hosted thing. Only myself would have access.
The login or whatever,
Right,
yeah.
It'd probably be like myself,
And
then
Travis.
maybe one of the other full-time librarians, but that's
That
it.
already.
It wouldn't even be general staff. Because
So-
of like the existing privacy issues.
So Travis, does the school kind of work like this?
Yes, we use, like, these are the cameras we're moving to. We have an older system, but the newer ones are these Vigilon Alta cameras that are cloud-based.
And you would have more, I think, maybe than
Yes, we
this,
have a
obviously.
lot.
And the price seems
Yes,
reasonable
they're
for
reasonable.
what?
I
Okay.
mean, there's, it's all the cameras, it's all the wiring. It doesn't look like there's any switches. They would probably use your existing switches, which is good.
Mhm.
And then the 5-year licensing, which is.
And then they have to fix it if it's not working.
Yep.
Yep.
Good. Do all the updates, everything.
And where would this money come out of? I mean,
So this is
Probably
one of
asking
the things that, because it's gonna be a $41,000
Yeah.
breakdown. Yeah, because it's 5,800 for our 5-year subscription, and in addition to the $36,000 install and material, like all the stuff. So this is something that would probably need to come out of our OICF money.
compare it to updating the romper room, I'm kidding.
That is one of the other options that is on the future itemized list.
I mean, have you ever, well, you just got here, but does the staff think, I know they would feel safer.
Mhm.
I feel like you'd only feel safer if people know they're there. Are they visible?
They're going to be visible.
People
Maybe
will
put a
know
sign.
that, and do you have a post a notice?
You
Put
could,
a little sticker on the
we're gonna
front
get
door
one.
that.
Okay,
It's under surveillance, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's.
Mhm.
it's just creepy to me, but, I get it.
well, they don't put them in the bathrooms.
Yeah, it is a little
Well,
creepy, but
these
that's also
people
why
have
only
their
like 3
movements
people have
tracked
access.
and saved for 30 days, no
Mhm.
matter what they're doing.
Yeah,
Say there's a spouse wanting to know if their ex-husband came into the, you know what I mean?
They
That,
really couldn't, though.
They
You
can't,
just
they
talked
can't.
about it.
well, they can't unless they hack it, and this is probably one of those things that gets hacked sometimes, I don't know, I mean, yeah. I get it, I just
Mhm.
hate it.
I don't think your husband should be going to the library without you knowing anyway.
I think it's something you don't need until you need it. And then you
Right.
really need
Yeah.
it and you regret not having it.
Well, I just
I mean,
hope it
it's
has
just
a
every public
deterrence
building
effect
is
for
having them.
$36,000.
Travis-
We were adding them nonstop in the
I
district.
use it. all
Travis
the
brings
time.
up a good point, excuse me, saying you don't need it till you need it. Have you needed it at the school in the last
Yeah, all the time.
3 months,
Well,
the last 2
Yeah, I
weeks?
mean,
All
I
the
was-
time.
And I would hope we wouldn't, but,
I know,
Yeah,
that's always the
absolutely.
hope.
You're hoping you're not, but I mean, safety's the biggest word right now out there. And this is one of the things that's.
but also
It's
privacy.
a necessary.
Privacy's a big
Yeah,
one,
privacy's big too, I know.
Mhm.
and that's what your, safety versus privacy.
The end, the tale is old as time with us, yeah.
When we
Every discussion.
got security at the YMCA Tennis Center in Oshkosh, the director told people, it's no big deal, just don't pick your nose anymore in public.
Exactly.
But
Yeah, and
I mean,
nobody's watching it.
It'll be
See,
weird
we're
to have
looking-
in those cases of,
No.
There's
oh, this
something
man was
going
following me,
Yeah.
no, I wasn't. We have
Like we had.
Yeah.
And you don't have it inside the workroom,
Left
or the
a needle
lounge,
in the
or the
bathroom.
break room.
No.
That seems to me
So-
to
No.
be important.
These are just
Yeah.
public.
No one wants to sit and watch it, trust me,
Right.
I don't like
And
having to
then,
look
you
through
know,
it when I
call
have to
it
look
We
through
We
it.
don't know what's in that
There's just,
needle.
you don't have enough time in the
I
day to
think
sit
I'm
around
just
and
worried more
watch
about
it.
Yeah.
someone getting a hold of
Did
it.
you
It's
look
help.
at
Yeah, nobody has
what
enough
we-
time.
Yeah, no, it's
Well,
like, do you
we
look
don't
through our
find out
emails?
when
These
No,
companies have.
if you don't want to.
Well, and yes, because they have to let
It's a lot
you
of
know
work.
if they
They
had a
see
breach,
something
so
else that they
It will
can't,
happen.
so we have to take a
it
picture.
always does.
You can take a picture and print it,
Interesting.
so they don't get to sit down at the
Any other
computer.
questions? Comments,
We're going
concerns?
off on our own.
I don't think so.
Janet?
So you will then ask for vote on this also?
Yes, that is also on the action items.
Yeah, so the board would need to like vote to approve this RFP before we can move forward with it, and then I'll let Adam know.
An RFP stands for?
Request for proposal.
Pardon me?
Request for proposal.
Okay. I liked it that up above, you know, when you wrote something out, and then you put the acronym right after it, like OC, even though we all know what OC is.
I know, there's so many acronyms.
Or
I
abbreviation.
missed RFP.
That's my pet peeve is, you know, somebody in a meeting, they just keep throwing out these initials. And,
The city was okay with you reducing it? You didn't get any flack about that? Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Adam and I had a conversation about it. I was like, 22 cameras, is that overkill? And he was like, yeah, that's overkill. So he was on the same page with that as well.
Well, we
Yeah.
appreciate your taking initiative.
Oh, for sure.
And because we can always adjust if we feel we
Mhm.
need to.
My first thought was, the vendor just handed this to somebody and they said, okay, but you never do that, right?
Okay, these are all the
Yeah,
cameras.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I did the walk around and I like locked in on these 10 cameras, but I did also talk to all the staff here as well. So like all the staff are apprised of it. They all got an email saying, hey, these are the 22 locations that are up for discussion. These are the 10 that I would prefer. How do you feel about these 10?
okay.
So yeah, so staff already knows and they're fully on board.
I have a question, the circulation one, do you have it behind the desk? Cause like the one we have at Nina, I want it looking at our money drawer, the cash registers.
So
And
this.
seeing the person standing there.
Mhm.
This one's gonna it's gonna be above the desk, so we have like soffits that are gonna be above the desk, it's gonna be like right here, so it's gonna watch as people come in to the
Yeah.
desk. Yeah,
Okay.
but it's not gonna be watching our computers, the people behind in the
Would it
staff
get the
area.
cash
Right,
drawer?
no, I just.
Yeah, so it'll be right here when people come in and then looking at people as they're right there interacting.
Would you
That'll
need
be it.
2 in that area, maybe 2 cameras in
We have one really
the?
cool. Sometimes I just go look, but no, yeah, it's all in the camera. On the
Thank you.
side.
Any other
Great.
questions or comments about the cameras? All right, let's move on to item number, item number 10, discussion of recognition and appreciation for staff contributions resulting in the $17,000 cost savings. So this is a better late than never item. We've had a lot going on, and so I really wanted to make sure, Nancy, thank you for including this on the agenda. We definitely want to talk about it. So I don't know how long ago it's been, but they cleared out. June, okay, so June, they cleared out an area and they moved it from one side of the library to the other. It was an all-day thing. They had their family members come and help, right? It was a pretty big task. They took it on rather than having us hire someone to do it, which would have cost us $17,000. I think it's important that we do some sort of recognition and appreciation for the staff contributions. I know that Mary, before she left the board, had made a couple of suggestions for, bonuses. The city was not necessarily in agreement with offering just a
Okay.
financial incentive for them to, for us to show the appreciation, but really it is up to us to decide. My only request is that it's not something small like a pizza party, because to me that is insulting,
Like a piece of what?
like a pizza party.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you know, I
I
don't-
think, I
yeah,
agree,
I
I
think-
agree.
They saved us $17,000. That, as my friend said, is
That's
not
an
chump
estimate,
change.
right?
That,
It's an estimate, we
that
don't
is
know
the
exactly.
estimate of what it would have cost us to have that done, that move made by professional movers. So I would like to, I don't know what the idea is, and I don't know really what our, what you guys think is an appropriate way to reward the staff, but we need to do something, and I think it needs to be meaningful.
I think part of the concern maybe on their part too was that they were not getting any overtime. That when they submitted those time cards, it was the end of the pay period. And so they were not getting truly the compensation that, am I saying that right? That they maybe should have been getting.
So all of the hourly staff were compensated for it.
Right.
The two staff members that are really in question are the two full-time staff members who are exempt from getting overtime. So that'd be Linda and Susie. So they were not compensated for this. They came in and worked an additional 20 hours that week doing this move, knowing that they wouldn't be paid for it necessarily. Yeah.
Did you say the city didn't want to have a monetary?
They did not like the idea of giving a one-time bonus. Mary, I believe, also requested that they just get what would amount to, overtime pay as an addition into their next pay period, and they would not go for that. And
Well, they said they couldn't, I think, because they were
They said they
exempt.
couldn't do that,
Right.
that is true, but when we talked about doing a one-time bonus, they were opposed to it. Now, obviously, that would be our decision, but they said that they do not recommend that we do that. And I think Doug and I had a short discussion about this, and his concern was that they would start to expect it.
Yeah, I've thought about it.
And I am of the belief that people don't do this because they expect to be rewarded for it. I think they do it because they love the library, because they care about saving this money, and they knew that they could take on the work themselves. And I think if we sit here and go, I'm sorry, I can't do anything to help you or to reward you for that, it really is going to have a negative effect, and they're gonna say, you know what, it's not even about the money, but the fact that we didn't get any recognition.
Lisa,
right.
what kind of agreement were they told? Like, you're gonna come and help, were they told you might be reimbursed? What were they told?
No. They did this completely
Were they told if you
voluntary.
wanna help, you can, you don't have to?
We're
I think
gonna-
they actually spearheaded the effort.
Yeah, we're
The
gonna do
full-time
this.
staff, they said,
Yeah.
we need to get this done, it needs to be done by June 7th. They had gotten the bill or something, the
Estimate.
estimate, thank you, oh my gosh. The estimate for what it would cost, and it came in to the tune of $17,000. Ben had received the estimate and shared this with staff, and Linda, Susie, and Ben said, no, that's too high a price to pay when we can move it ourselves. And so they made this decision for the betterment of the library and the library budget.
So it was Susie, Linda, Ben,
Yeah, that's, I think, the question, do we know exactly who did it, or didn't?
I mean, they definitely spearheaded it. I believe the other people who participated and came in for extra hours were paid for it. Like, they were paid working hours.
But I think,
That's the
we
best
still
way.
want to appreciate them by thanking them, so
Agreed.
say something smaller,
Something
probably.
smaller, yes,
Yeah.
I would agree with that. And maybe that is having, something catered in, or
Yeah.
having cake or
Mhm.
cupcakes or whatever it is, something along those lines to show appreciation to them, but the people who didn't get paid,
Mhm.
those are the people I think deserve more of a reward, because they took this on. They didn't even, nobody asked them to do it. They said,
Right.
we could save the $17,000, and I think we need to reward that.
What does Ben fall into?
Ben is hourly.
So he was paid, but not overtime?
No, he was paid, he would have been paid overtime if he was over 40 hours. Yeah, so he should have been paid overtime.
So we only have two exempt.
Yeah. I can double check on all of that and get the names
Okay.
for the board and share those with you, the people who came.
And it goes
Those-
another
those
month.
days.
I know, and I feel like,
Well, what do you think they want?
They understand
And
though.
what-
Well,
They
I-
understand.
okay, and I
was-
hope that you let them know.
They know that the board wants to do this,
Yeah.
we've had conversations about
Okay,
it.
okay.
So they understand what's going on, and it's
And
been
I
a lot
talked to
for
one of them,
forever.
and she said, really, the recognition is really important, more than the money, but I want to do some money too.
I do too.
Yeah,
you know, the problem is, if they know, well, we did $17,000 work, and we're getting a $50 gift certificate? Are they gonna-
I was thinking more than that, I was
But you
thinking
know what I mean, so
200 to
say
300,
$300, they
but.
might say, well, we saved you.
And I
Oh, they're not
17,000.
expecting that, it's
And
not
I-
about the money.
Yeah, I
It's-
agree.
yeah.
I don't think it's about the money because they did this not to save us necessarily the money, but because they felt like it was the right thing to do for the library.
Do you
And
know
I
what I
don't,
mean, you know, if their expectation is huge,
but I don't think they have
No,
an
they weren't getting
expectation.
anything, this was
well,
months
how about
later.
since they know that we're gonna do something, are their expectations rising?
That was months
No.
later though, I mean, they got nothing, they got no recognition, months later,
Mhm.
I found out about this, you found out about this, Lisa found out, and
Mhm.
we're like, whoa, we need to go back and do something for them.
Yeah, I don't think they have any level of expectation on what
No,
the
well, that's
recognition
good.
will be, or if it's monetary in any way.
Didn't they do something recently too, not just several months ago?
I mean, right now where they just did all the temporary circ desk stuff, yeah, and I mean, it's gonna continue through the renovation, they continue to do all
I
of
hope
this
they
stuff.
worked their hours all this time and got paid for the time this time.
I mean, they're fully paid this time, but
Thank you. That, I mean, that's,
everybody's been paid, I'm
yeah,
staying very strong and no, if it's outside your work hours, work your
and I don't
80
even
hours. and
know,
if I-
did we not have a director then, right? It was an
There wasn't a
interim.
director, it was
Right.
been as interim.
So
Yeah.
they didn't know how to handle
Well,
it.
Lisa, what are a couple recommendations of some type of honor or gift?
I honestly think we need to reward them with a bonus, with a one-time
Yeah,
bonus. That
me
is
too.
my feeling, in terms of the amounts. I'm gonna gather suggestions, but I think at least $500. I know taxes come out of that, and so, but that I think is a good starting point. I'm open to more if others feel that, but I don't think $500 for, each of them is too much to ask.
For those two,
For just those two?
I would agree with that, but then I think Ben is sort of instigating and planning it.
Could get
Is this
250
something we should be on camera
I think we are.
for? I know, should be. Yeah,
Oh, you don't.
it's not salary, so I guess.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's not
Okay,
salary,
yeah.
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 Mhm.
I would think Ben got paid, but should also receive some monetary. And then the rest, something, maybe the $50 gift certificate or something for every
Yeah.
single one of them who showed up. I feel like Ben probably did more than the other staff members, but again, we don't really know.
I think all the full-time staff probably put a lot
Yeah,
Yeah.
into everything.
Yeah.
and he's the only other full-time, isn't he?
Mhm. Yeah.
I think
I mean-
500 for those two is fine.
Alternatively, what you can do, I'll just throw that out there, because I know the city is hesitant to give a bonus. What you can do, because you have approved the pay for performance, in addition to their annual review, at any point during the year, you can give a mid-year raise.
There's something.
But out of that budget that we're stuck with.
Out of the budget that we're currently in for 2025 even.
Oh, that's true.
So you could give a mid-year raise per the policy that we recently voted to.
But then that percent will go up and raise next year's budget.
So that
It's a
would tell,
percent.
that would be a recognition of a higher order in a sense. We're giving you an actual raise, not just because you put in 20 hours, but because you volunteered to really step up and save the library money.
Yeah. Take the
But that's what are your
phrasing.
thoughts?
I don't know about that one, because then that really messes with your budget going forward, it really does. Unfortunately, we've gotta
I think a
be a
one-time
little
bonus
tight
is
there.
appropriate, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if I were going to go with anything, it would be the one time.
Right.
Okay.
I guess I'd like to see how many people,
What
that I would
what's
go
gonna
towards,
total?
like total, before I would vote on this.
And again, we should have some surplus because we did not have a director being paid this year either,
Right,
full-time. So we should have some surplus for
Mhm.
going into next year.
Good point.
Nancy, what are your thoughts?
Can they get a paid day off?
No, this was
So we knew what
about,
happened?
no, this was about not being able to take comp
Oh,
time.
as a,
So
as a
they said no to the
recognition.
comp time.
You mean as
Yeah,
a reward?
the city
Yeah.
would, yeah,
She's saying as a reward.
yeah,
But
and the
the
city wouldn't do
city
it.
does not do that.
Yeah, they would not. Because
They
we
would
would have
not
to
give
go
them
through
comp
HR to
time
do that.
later for it, which is what that would have been. They would not do that because of the outside the pay period. So I think they would not go for that.
I think they did not go for that. I believe that was already
Like,
asked.
so like a vacation day.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they wouldn't do it.
Have some things already been decided by the city that we can't do?
Well, from these conversations.
Yeah, like certain things,
Yeah.
yeah, certain things they couldn't do, like the overtime and the additional, the comp time. But any sort of financial, that's under our purview, and so we get to
They
decide that.
understand that?
They
Oh, yeah.
understand that.
Oh, yeah.
They discouraged certain actions, but ultimately it is our decision.
I think they didn't, like, it wasn't that they didn't wanna recognize them, or, but what
Right.
they, I think were saying from my conversation with Mary is that they're salaried, and so when you're salaried, you work over 40 hours. You know, that's what you do sometimes. It's part of why you're salaried and why sometimes you get a raise to be salaried. In their case, they almost never work under that 40. It's not how we've ever operated in
And
the
this
library.
isn't like, oh, you know what, I put in 42 hours and you're
Right.
not getting time and a half for
Right.
those 2 hours.
Right.
This is, I put in an additional 20
weekend
hours,
day,
a
yeah.
whole weekend. I got my family involved, I
Right.
brought people in here,
Right.
and I saved you $17,000.
I think that's bonus, that's a bonus, so.
Yeah, I agree, that is not, to me, that's beyond being a salaried person. That's more than what I would expect from a salaried
Does that
person.
make sense to you, Travis, or you?
Yeah, I need to see the number of people and
Yeah.
who,
What our
before I
total
make
would
any
be,
vote,
and who's, yeah, who's what, and
be
again,
very
we
hesitant.
discuss this.
You think Doug might wanna have an input?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's true.
Who's here?
Sorry.
That's my granddaughter Lily.
Well, hi Lily.
Okay, why don't you have a seat, because we're still in the middle of our.
We're kinda going overtime today or
Go
something.
right ahead, thank you.
So, yeah, if you could bring us back, I don't know how you go find out who worked and how much, and, yeah.
I mean, I can just ask.
If we had cameras, we would
We
know.
had cameras. We'd be outside
I
the
don't know
30-day
if we just
window.
use it for that. Now we're breaking the rules.
Oh, okay, rules, all
30
right, fine.
30 days, it'd be gone.
Okay, so we'll table that until we get additional information, and we
Sounds
can always
good.
add it on our action items for next.
Yeah, who is here,
next
and as
meeting.
close as you can get how much time they were here.
Yeah,
Mhm,
Yeah.
For sure.
If that's
Okay.
possible.
great.
Cool, cool, cool.
Anything else on that topic before we move on to committee reports? Okay, we can look at the meeting minutes from the budget committee. I kind of gave an overview when we first started. The budget is what it is. We definitely had a little bit of a deficit. When we met as the budget committee, there really was not any places where we could cut that would make some sort of significant difference. You know, we could nickel and dime in certain areas.
Yeah.
But for the most part, there really wasn't any way to make up for that 16,823 that we are in deficit. And Nancy, would you like to give the rest of the, sorry to put you on the spot here, but
More
give
time.
everyone an overview of like where these deficits are coming from?
Sure, absolutely. So, I mean, our biggest deficits are obviously coming from wage benefit increases. Like, it's just year to year, they increase between 2.8 to 3%. I mean, even with the full-time, part-time salaries, like, with the pay for performance plan, you can give up to a 1.7% increase on top of the 2.8% cost of living adjustment. I really limited that to keep, us at just the 3% that we would have been even on the step plan, to keep, and I plan on doing that moving into the future so that our budget is more understandable moving into the future. It's like, this increases 3% every year, whatever that looks like, it's 3%. And so we can kind of keep a handle on it better that way, unless somebody is a standout, and then I will have an explanation for that. So even just increasing just salaries by 3%, I mean, that is what, $25,000 right there, just in deficit there. It's kind of offset because I only will be taking single person health insurance, so that gives us back $13,000 into the budget. Okay, that's fine. Sorry, I freaked out over here. And then, so just with all of the wage increases, insurance technically increased across the board, but we have a little bit of offset because my insurance needs are different than other people who previously had this position. And then, you know, with all those increases, Social Security is increasing as well, as the Wisconsin retirement system benefits as well. So that's where the majority of our deficit is coming from, is just wages. The other item line on here, so like there's the negative 2350, that is red on here as well, right here. That is the copier scanner that we now fully own. The Friends transferred ownership to us, so now we are required to maintain it as well as the entire maintenance schedule. So that's approximately $2,400 a year as the invoices are rolling in, that's what I'm approximating. And then even the publications dues subscriptions, so we had a discussion about how we want to honor the membership costs for 2 staff members to be a part of community organizations, so that's to the tune of $475 actually. So that's most of that, and then the other deficit comes from needing to maintain our magazine and periodical subscriptions. We went through them pretty rigorously at the budget committee, and there's really not enough money in that budget to make a cut significant enough to change anything about our budget. We would be losing so much more in services versus the money we would save that it's not worth cutting at that point. We would need to cut approximately 20 magazines and 2 newspapers to make a big enough cut to make a difference, basically. So you would be losing 20% of our availability. And then operational supply, small equipment. So this 450 is basically just the increase in library card cost. I did get 2 more companies to give us like just bids and estimates on what our cards would cost, and it's actually slightly lower than what we have right now. It's about $200 lower. So like this would actually only be like a $250 deficit then. And then other supplies and expenses, I believe that, so that the other supplies is always our book money. And so that I maintained the increase. We desperately need to purchase more digital material, especially with 2/3 of our collection going to storage. And digital materials are just more expensive than our print material, and even our print material has significantly increased in price. So we're getting less stuff for the amount of money that we have budgeted. So if we decrease it at all, and this is like a very small increase, we will actually be losing more than we're gaining. So on this spreadsheet, I also added in some little tags in here, so like exactly tier 1. So on like my little handwritten notes on this one, so this says Appendix 1, or Appendix A. So this is taken from the Wisconsin Public Library Standards sheet. So when we're talking budget, they have the amounts that you should be trying to attain. So based on like your collection materials amounts, your materials expenditures, all of those things. So if we go through this item by item and match it to our budget, so our hours, we're currently at approximately 61 hours per week for our open hours, which is tier 2. Volumes held per capita, we have 3.6. However, as we're weeding, in order to keep everything in-house, we did a heavy weed, so we're probably below tier 2 now. We might be in tier 1, just through necessity. So if we don't increase our materials expenditures per capita, we will not recover. We will always be at tier 1, and we will decrease as time goes on. So we would be at the bottom level of the standards. Or we will erroneously keep really old material to make sure that our holding stays at the appropriate number. So either we will have an aging collection that we will not be able to replenish, or we will just have a shrinking collection that is up to date. So those are kind of the options there if we don't increase that budget. Our collection size is currently at tier 2. which is kind of following what I'm saying is we have an aging collection that we kept to keep our number inflated right now. Periodical subscriptions, we're currently actually at tier 1, which is the lowest. We can cut 10 magazines and 2 newspapers to keep it at 2,500, which is already more than we have allocated. We would need a $500 increase to even make a cut right now. And then that makes us scraping the bottom of the publications and subscriptions level. And then public use internet computers, we're actually increasing those. We're currently below and we're climbing with the grant and other expenditures. So that is kind of where we are right now with the budget. As kind of previously discussed, we do not have the audit numbers for the city yet. Finance Director Sean still has not received those from the accountant firm. But I went and pulled the December 2024 fund report. And according to that report, let me pull it up. So this is December 2024, so this should be the last budgetary thing that was presented about 2024. There's a $35,000 underspending from last year. So that should be sitting in a city account waiting to be allocated by the library board. So we should be able to reallocate the deficit and offset it by this fund balance easily. So this number comes from underspending by $17,000 from our line items here. So we spent $656 and we were budgeted $674. But also we did receive additional revenue that we were not expecting. Again, so like we received $691 and we were budgeted $674. So we had another $17,000 of budget that we received from other avenues that we were not accounting for originally. So between those two, the underspending and then the over budget that we had, we should have about $35,000 waiting for us that we can reallocate to next year's budget. It's not the official audit number, so we still need that number, but based on these two numbers, it should be fully fine to allocate at least the deficit of $16,823.
But we could choose to increase something that you thought was pretty low and not vote it through, but hope that that number will cover it.
I mean, I would love to increase the book budget. I mean, we're down almost $20,000 where we were 2 years ago. Like our budget has decreased $20,000 in 2 years.
Right, and we lowered it last year, kind of to pay for something, yeah, so.
Yeah, it dropped $10,000 through the budgetary process, and then it dropped another 10 when Desiree left, I think,
So
because of the insurance.
Would you prefer it in e-books or hard, books?
That, if we increased it by $10,000, I would distribute that to the regular physical materials
Okay.
at that point.
Because you can spend them next fall.
Yeah, we can spend it
When
next
you're
fall,
back.
and we're going to want to replenish.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Putting it all in the digital materials, like that's just a stopgap because we want to maintain access while we're going through all of these closures and like not having things available on our shelves. We won't have the space for a period of time, probably 6 to 9 months next year. We just won't have physical space, so we're going to be allocating a big chunk of this to the e-materials. But we're going to need to replenish all the stuff that we needed and make up lost time when we weren't able to order. Yeah, and then with Baker and Taylor,
Right.
not in the picture anymore, giving us the sweet discounts.
Yeah, you're not
Who knows,
sure
yeah.
what
I
kind
don't
of
know the
discount.
amounts
Right.
that we would be able to refill.
How many items do we need to vote on tonight?
Well, this one's on for action, but,
I think until we get those numbers.
right, but we don't have the
I know.
numbers we need. But then the question becomes, can they wait a month, or do we have to then have another meeting to approve the budget request?
I know, we would probably need to have an emergency meeting if it came down to that. I mean, I do feel like we're behind on the budget. I know we don't feel comfortable making this decision without having all of the numbers. But that is the ask that has been made, and kind of the expectation is to make the call without having
Really,
that number.
they want you to have us approve it without the number.
Because the entire city budget needs to be finalized by like first week of November.
First week in November?
I think that's when everything is like said and done, needs to be completed, like
What
is
number
in
is it
talks at city
that they
council.
want us to not get before we make
It's
it?
the surplus from last year.
Can we just say we approve whatever that surplus amount is between, you think it's gonna be more than X, but less than 35, and just add it, we approve that you add it to the.
Yeah, I mean, we can get,
Well, I think what we
Get
do
creative
is
with
just,
the language.
we approve it with a bigger deficit, is what we do. That's our action, is to say we approve it with this 16,000 and we add 10 to it, so that it's 26,000, and put 10 more in the book budget, so it's 26,000. And then we approve that budget,
Mhm.
assuming
that there is
that there's a surplus that will cover that, plus more.
Mhm.
Is anybody comfortable with that?
Yes.
Travis?
I'm kind of in between on that one. I mean, without knowing the numbers, just throwing in 10,000, we don't really know,
Right.
is kind of difficult.
I know.
So what happens if we just approve it as is and then it turns out we have an overage?
They approve it or not, they have the final say of what our budget is. We're sending a request to them, to the council.
Mhm. Yeah, and this would be, we would be keeping our request for the council flat from last year. If that's the case, like, if we really are sitting on a true tax levy fund balance, I mean, I think we would actually be doing like the city a favor by keeping it flat. So I think they would be all for keeping it flat.
Well, isn't it 2% increase? Yeah, 2.7.
So our budget would be increasing by 2.74 or 2.75.
Right,
But even if we, like, because we would be allocating already existing money, we would be asking for more.
right.
Yeah, so we wouldn't be asking for an increase from the city, it would be the same budget as we had requested from this year.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It's
Okay.
flat for what they're contributing.
exactly. Their contribution would be flat.
So that it would be hard for them to object to that, I would think.
I
Doug's
guess-
not here, I can't believe he's not here.
What I'm confused about is whether, I'm confused about why you would want to add the 10,000. I don't understand, so if we just approve it as the deficit of 16,823, and then Sean comes back and says, well, you have an additional,
Mhm.
20,000 there, and we wanna put an additional 10,000 of that in books.
We can't. We
Okay,
can't
I don't-
improve the budget, we can't add anything else to these budget items, what's it?
So we have to put it as a deficit in order to use that surplus from last
I'm
year?
pretty sure you can. You can do a budget adjustment after the fact. So like we could approve this budget and then if Sean comes back with, actually, yeah, you do have the 35,000 sitting in your fund balance. We would just need another meeting because that is the board's, you are in charge of that money. So if you can't allocate it whenever you want, that is incorrect. So you could say, no, we want to actually take the fund balance and we would like to do a budget adjustment and increase this budget line by X amount of dollars. You can do that. You should be able to do
Nobody's
that.
here that has enough history to, Travis, did
I
we ever
know,
do that?
there's nobody to ask. We've done that at Shawno, I can say that with
Okay.
confidence.
Well, then I guess you'd have to check, if that's possible, I mean, I think you know it is, but to
What-
see
what
how
is the
the city
mechanism?
would
What is the
react to that,
procedure?
I guess, yeah.
Mhm.
And I can always call an impromptu meeting, just to have a quick, to
Mhm.
just vote on that particular item. If you guys are open to that, I would prefer to know that we're doing it the appropriate way and we don't get,
Mhm.
we're not able to, I don't wanna lose the money, essentially.
Right,
Um,
and this is what would happen if we can't add it later, it's, now, I don't think it goes away, I think it's still in our
No, we can't
account,
spend it.
correct?
It's a carry forward.
Right,
So then what, I guess then I'm,
It's a carry forward.
If it's
Yeah.
a carry forward, why can't we then reallocate it at a different time? That doesn't make sense to me. I'm sure it's some government weird thing that's going on, but
No,
it's-
we
You should be able to.
Yeah.
You can, it's just, what is the procedure, nobody here knows the exact
And
request. There should be a
and
form
frankly, I
somewhere.
don't know that we're gonna know before they finalize the city budget. Are we even going to know what our surplus is? Because they told Nancy that July would be the time we'd have that
Sean
number.
was supposed to have all these numbers by end of July, and they've been telling him for weeks, oh, next week, and he still doesn't have the numbers.
So the odds of it coming in before they finalize the city budget, I don't know what those odds are.
okay, I am still not following. So if we approved this budget as it is, and we then have this, find out later, we have this surplus, why can we not say, well, let's put that additional $10,000 towards books?
You
Why can we not out?
You can.
Okay, so then why are we not just approving it the way it is? That's where I've missed something.
I just prefer to do it this way.
Okay, so it
Bird
wasn't
in
like
hand.
okay, and I totally get that, I just wanna make sure I am understanding
And-
why we want to.
And we've never done that, and we don't know if there would be pushback. But if you're saying legally we can, then I'd have to trust
And you
that.
can
should be able to.
you can make a, okay, Nina, I'm on the other side, so, but the board, they approve something as is, and then, and that they state it, there's some legal way to state it, that Nicole can adjust it up to a certain point or use carry forward funds, whatever it is, like
Mhm.
they can give her a max
Okay.
or a minimum. So you could say,
I know where you're going with
kind of
this, yeah.
keep it under what, you know, it could be.
And I
So
think,
don't say 35, because it's.
I think what we've done in the past too is just spend the money out of the reserve. It's in our accounts.
Well, yeah, we could just
So
wait till.
you could just buy the books out of that rather than increase the 10,000.
I know they prefer not to do that.
Okay,
You
you-
can
okay.
technically, you can do whatever you want as a board with those funds. It just makes the tracking and the auditing
Okay.
go easier if you allocate that to a specific line item.
And then it's sitting there in the budget line.
Correct, and then that way it's like, it's not, and every month we
I
have to
mean,
go over what was
Lisa,
spent for.
if you're approving it here like this, the council's going to see that we have, that we're asking for, it's gonna show that that we're overspending what they wanted to give us. Because that 16 needs to come out of the surplus, and they won't know about that. So we're asking for an increase, essentially.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, just so they understand that. And I don't know if there's meetings you can go to defend it or talk about it with them. I think
I mean, I
there
can just
are.
go to the, like, I'm a
Did you
council
say,
meeting.
did you say we might need an extra meeting?
Yeah, if we don't wanna vote on it, I mean,
Maybe that's what we need to do is.
we certainly can. My take is we approve it as is with the stipulation that if there is an excess or carry forward balance, that we still have the option of allocating whatever amount that we want to for next year's budget.
Okay.
And that may be a little vague for them because they wanna approve a budget and they wanna approve numbers on a piece of paper, so.
And we are.
Okay.
And if there is a carry forward balance from last year's, excess, then we have the opportunity to allocate it to a different fund or to a different
adjust our
category.
budget request.
To adjust our
I
budget
think
request.
That's what she said, yeah.
Yes, is that
That sounds right.
okay?
And then we don't have to revisit and vote again?
Or have another meeting?
That would be correct, you would not have to,
Okay.
until the actual budget adjustment needs to happen. And then that could just be part of a regular meeting,
Okay.
because we
A
shouldn't
later
be,
meeting?
we shouldn't be flying through the $50,000. We would know at a certain point.
And I guess my question would be, since this budget is approved by the council, then do they have to approve it again?
No,
If we adjust our
If you're
budget,
doing a budget adjustment from an account that you already have control
Okay.
over, you don't have to ask
so you're
for
moving it
the-
from the surplus into your book
Yeah,
budget?
exactly.
Okay,
It's waiting to be allocated. The surplus money at any time It doesn't have
So
to
it isn't-
necessarily be allocated during budgetary
Then
season.
it won't change our budget, unfortunately, because then next year, the increase is not gonna include that amount that we added, that we used out of the surplus.
Correct,
So any percentage will include that 10,000 or whatever it is.
yeah. Mhm.
So, Lisa, do we want to do what you suggested?
Yes, I would like it if
No, write
everybody
that
did what I
down.
suggested. Do I need to write it down? I can.
Use the word stipulation.
Stipulation, all right, let me see if I can write this down. I'll have someone read it if they're okay with it.
Good job.
And you might wanna just stipulate that
With the stipulation that the carry forward fund be applied
to this 16 and,
or to, yeah.
yeah.
To the deficit.
I mean, it's two things that we wanna use that surplus for. But I guess we could leave the books out of it right now, the book budget, and just say we wanna approve this budget with the understanding that there's surplus carryover from last year that will cover.
Mhm.
Does that make sense? That's all we'd have to say.
She's writing down, she's got it.
She's on it.
We're changing it, sorry, Lisa.
That's okay.
It's been a long day.
I know what you mean.
Not for me, for you.
Not for you, Janet.
No, I already tell you.
It was nice to see the new sidewalk coming.
It's so nice.
Nobody will make it to this part of the meeting, even if they are watching it. They'll be going, what?
If Doug was here, we wouldn't still be here.
No, you would have to leave.
But isn't that nice, the sidewalk nice?
Yeah, the trail all the way down.
The snake?
It's, I don't think it's official yet, but I know, Linda has asked for the Ripon Kiwanis to, hopefully fund like a walking literacy trail going
Ooh.
from the top to the bottom to make it more of like a literacy friendly outdoor space.
I like that.
Yeah, so it's gonna be called it's the Born Learning Trail. It's part of, United Way, so.
Is United Way gonna send people over to cut some of those bushes down?
That would be awesome.
Okay. The language I wrote is that whoever does this moves to approve the budget proposal with the stipulation that the surplus carryover from 2025 will be used to cover the deficit in the 2026 budget.
2024 surplus carryover. Last
Yeah.
year.
Oh,
The
last year.
2024.
I had 2024 and then I was like, no, wait, okay, all right. And the 2024 will be used to cover the deficit in the 2026 budget.
Yep.
Sound good? Okay, who wants to make the motion?
Travis.
We have to.
I didn't wanna,
Read that.
force you.
We're accepting
I'll
what
second
this
it.
is right now,
Yes.
right now.
That is what we are
with the
accepting.
stipulation.
Yep.
With the stipulation.
That's it.
I make the motion to approve that,
Okay,
exactly what that says.
okay,
I second.
all right, all those in favor?
Aye.
I,
All those opposed? Motion is carried. Yes. Love it when we can all
We
agree
have a
on something.
budget.
Yay.
I can
Sort
make a
of.
fire safety plan.
Okay, the next one is to vote on the renovation furniture budget. And that, if we recall, is to update the 24,189.42 for the staff workroom and the 72,8094 for the break room. Is that
Well, these numbers aren't correct, are they?
Right, those are the slightly outdated
I would-
ones. I'm pulling out the.
I would move that
Sure,
we
okay.
accept the proposed budget, or, yeah, proposed furniture budget as presented at the meeting minus the Nash Room, Silver Creek Room, telehealth room, and Zoom room. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that one too.
Okay.
You do well.
All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? The motion is carried. Were we gonna table the surveillance cameras?
Yes.
Yes, okay, thank you. And then the vote on the recognition, we're gonna table that one as well
Why are
to,
we tabling the security?
Yeah,
Yeah, well,
tabling D, but I didn't think we were tabling.
Travis, didn't you say you needed to hear,
Maybe.
hear some numbers?
I thought that one was good.
Forgive me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Recognition.
I think,
Oh,
yeah, the
okay.
recognition is getting tabled, I
Yep,
believe,
yep, yep,
but the
Yep.
security is good.
Right.
Okay, all right, so then I need a motion to approve the security system RFP.
I don't know that one.
You'll do that one? Okay,
I will second.
I don't want a second again.
all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion is carried. Awesome. Okay, and the recognition and appreciation for staff contributions, we will table until Nancy can get us some real numbers, right after she's done with the fire.
And everything else, just.
Yes. Agenda items for future library meetings, is that something you wanted, or is that just sort of a general
That's just gonna be
catch-all?
on there like public comment in case anybody
Perfect.
wants to have something discussed, go further in depth into anything.
Okay, anybody have any?
Something.
You have something.
Just, I don't know, maybe it's always been done like this, but like the action stuff down here, have you looked at Nina's?
You like Nina's format better, is that?
Well, after, because otherwise you're going back and you have to flip,
Flip through
Like you-
to put it after each one?
so after each agenda.
Oh,
can
could
see that?
you
You vote right then?
vote, right?
Yeah,
I like
so
that
like she
idea.
writes action after whatever items need action.
Okay, all
That
right.
way
And
we
then
wouldn't
it's
have to
right.
review, you could,
Right.
when it's fresh in your mind.
Well, and I thought there was something about, you couldn't vote the week you discussed. Like, you had to present it and discuss it one month and vote the next month, but that's not a true thing?
Okay.
If we have to approve the layout.
This is just the layout I inherited.
Yes.
It is
So
I
indeed.
did
I'm
minutes
fine with
at
doing
the-
the other one,
the
because that's what we
meeting.
did at Shawano also.
Oh,
It was
really?
like-
Let's,
It was like discuss and possible action on da-da-da-da-da-da.
Please do it that way.
Okay, cool.
Yes, because
the
I,
president has spoken.
that's right, we're gonna do it my way or the highway. Okay.
You've been pretty
um,
flexible.
Very flexible, as long as you do it my way.
Yeah.
Okay, can I get a motion to adjourn?
I will so move.
There you
I will
go.
second.
All right, we are adjourned.